Hey, good evening everyone. We're going to solve quadratic equation by extracting square roots. So we will use the first method in solving the quadratic equation. So we have here quadratic equations that is written in the form of x squared equals k can be solved by applying the following properties. Number one property is if k is greater than 0, then x squared equals k has two real solutions or roots. Therefore, from here, you can solve x, which is equal to the positive and negative the square root of k, whatever is your k, if k is greater than 0. Then, number 2, if k is equal to 0, then x squared equals k has one real solution or root. Therefore, you can only have x equals 0, only one real root. So here, number 3, if k less than 0, therefore x squared equals to k has no real solutions or roots. No real solution or roots. Therefore, this method of solving the quadratic equation x squared equals k is called the extracting square root. So for us to solve an incomplete quadratic equation, you must be able to solve the equation for the square of the unknown number. Find the square roots of both members of the equation. Okay, yan. So we have here an example, illustrative examples. So find the solution. When you say solution, that's the value of x of the quadratic equation x squared minus 16 equals 0 by extracting the square roots. Okay, the steps. We have here the steps. So first, we have here x squared minus 16 equals 0. That is our given. Next, x squared minus 16. That is the given. Using the addition property of equality, we will add 16 both sides so that we can eliminate this. And if you're going to add this one, this will become 0. So since 0 na ito, ang maiwan na lang is x squared. And 0 plus 16 is 16. So that's why you have there x squared equals 16. Another is, next step rather, is extract the square root on both sides of the equation. So we will get the square root of x squared, square root of 16. Or you can use the first property. If the given is already in this form, which is x squared equals 16, therefore 16 there is your k. Since k is greater than 0, 16 is greater than 0, right? So therefore, since k is greater than 0, therefore you can say that there are two roots. Therefore, you can write that as the x equals to the positive and negative square root of 16. Dapat yun, dito palang banda. Square root of 16, or you can have directly as x equals to positive negative 4. The square root of 16 is 4. Pero dapat meron siyang positive and negative. So therefore, the answer is it has two real roots, which is the positive 4 and negative 4. Okay, I'm going to explain further about that example earlier. We have here x squared minus 16 equal 0. So I want this to become like this, because you can only use the property if that is in the form of this. So therefore, we're going to remove negative 16 here so that it will become like this. So how are you going to do that? So that's why we will add the opposite of 16, negative 16, which is plus 16 equal 0 plus 16. So, dapat both sides mag-add ng 16 para maging 0 yan. Since 0 na yan, ang maiwan na lang is only x squared, which is this one. Yan. Then, equals 0 plus 16 is 16. From here, since ito is already in this form, so therefore, you can say therefore, your k is 16. And from here, you can say that k is greater than 0. Since greater than 0 yan, since greater than 0 ang k, therefore, you can use this to solve for x. Positive, negative square root of k. What is your k? Your k is 16. So that's why you have there positive and negative the square root of 16. Therefore, your x is positive and negative 4. Therefore, the values of x are positive 4 and negative 4. Yan ang two solutions. Number 2, what if your given is m squared equals 0? This given is already in the form of x squared equals k. So therefore, you can say here that your k is 0. Based from number 2 properties doon sa quadratic, extracting square roots, ang number 2 there, if your k is 0, therefore, you only have one real root, which is equals 0. So therefore, from here, since your k is already 0, therefore, you have only one root, which is 0. Diretso na yun. 0 na yun. That is if your k is 0. What if your given is like this? S squared plus 81 equals 0. How are you going to solve for s? So first thing, we need to remove positive 81. So how are we going to eliminate 81 there? So since that is positive, para maging 0 yan, we will subtract 81. But it should be both sides. So therefore, this will become s squared plus 81. And then, lagyan natin ng 0 for a while. Then, we will subtract 81 both sides. Yan. Para maging 0 yan. So, canceled out na yan. So, therefore, ang naiwan na lang is s squared equals 0 minus 81 is negative 81. So, here. This one is already in the form of x squared equals k. So, from here, you can say that your k is equal to negative 81. Since your k is negative, then you can say also that your k is less than 0. Okay. Since your k is less than 0, from number 3 property, you can say that you have no real roots. So therefore, from here, you will not anymore solve. It's like this. If you will use this, like this, positive and negative square root of k, this will become like this. positive, negative, the square root of negative 81. You cannot extract square root on negative numbers unless this negative will become imaginary. So therefore, from here, you have no real roots, but you have imaginary roots. That's why we say rather that it has no real roots. No real roots. Meron siyang roots, pero imaginary roots. That's it.